In this video guys, I'm going to show you how you can do a proper oil change for less than £50 within 10 minutes. Okay, so here it goes. You should really consider learning to service your car. Every 10,000 miles or every year you should be changing the oil. Did you know that to go round the globe once, it equates to around 22,000 miles roughly? Check it up on Google. And if your car on average does 10,000 miles per year, that means you're going to have to be taking it to the garage every year. It goes around half of the globe. So if it's going around half of the globe, if you think about how big the world is, and your car over the course of a year, it covers half of the globe, and you're neglecting it, you ain't changing the oil or changing the filter, then you are obviously stunting the lifespan of the car. Your car gets you from A to B every single day. We use it a lot. It's just like your mobile as well. If you didn't charge your phone, you wouldn't be able to use it. The same thing with the car. You need to maintain it, guys. It's very important. And on that note, since it's something that you need to do regularly, I suggest you learn it, because taking the car to the mechanic every year, it stacks up a lot of costs. Another reason why you should really consider servicing your car and maintaining it is because if you live in a household where there's all other cars in the driveway or parked on the road, that's a lot of money that can be saved within your household. Nowadays, it's really hard to find a good mechanic. Finding a mechanic is just like finding a barber. Once you found your barber, the right barber that knows how to cut your hair, you keep them and you stick with them. It's the same thing with a mechanic. I realized for a lot of mechanics, I don't want to paint everyone with the same brush, but yeah, I'm not going to say anything more. Let's just get straight to the point and get on with it. Here it is. For this oil change, you're going to need 4 litres of oil. 5W30 is fine. Get an oil filter from your car parts or online that is going to be compatible with your car. And then get some ramps in place. So I'm getting the ramps in place so I can get the jack under there, because this is a really low car. So I need enough space in there to get the jacks in. Once the chokes are set, you're pretty much safe. Don't forget your wheel locking nut. You're going to need that to open the wheels, and you're going to need a 17mm head socket. Put that to your locking nut and then attach that to a breaker bar, and as so. Just go and unlock all of them. It shouldn't require too much strength. Just unlock them all. You don't want to take them off. If you take them off, you're going to have a lot of trouble. So just unlock them, yeah. And then once they're unlocked, you want to place the jack underneath and very carefully look for, now every car is different, but on most Mercedes, they all have a point in the center, a jacking point in the center of the car. So just behind the engine, just behind the engine tray, you'll find it. And then get your jack in there and start pumping it up. Do it very carefully, because if you don't, it's going to rip through and damage the underlay. Okay, once the car is up, you want to get your axle stands and put them in place. Once the axle stands are in place, take off the wheels. So just use a drill, or you can do it by hand, and just zip, take all the nuts out, take the wheel off, and what you want to do with the wheel is you want to put it under the car, and this is going to be a safety precaution just in case the axle stands let you down, because the last thing you want to do is get crushed whilst you're under the car operating it. Okay, so guys, safety is everything. Make sure you put those wheels. Don't be lazy. It is probably the longest part of servicing the car, taking the wheels off. Take them off. Trust me, you won't regret it. Get your socket. This one's a 14 flute socket, and yeah, use your breaker bar to take that off, and it should come off effortlessly. And then you want to use the right socket head for this. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't a big piece. It was a very small socket, and there was about 6 screws. Take them all off, and the tray should come straight off after. It's quite straightforward. Now, make sure to keep your nuts safe. This is probably one of the best things I've bought. It's about £12, and it's a tray that keeps all your screws safe. It magnetizes them and holds onto them, so nothing's rolling around and collecting dirt and debris all over the concrete floor, and getting stuck into the threading of the screws. So once you've found the sump nut, obviously take it off. And once it's taken off, all the oil should pour out. So have your pan ready to collect all the dirty oil. Look at that dirty oil. That's a good year's worth of probably about 15,000 miles on there. 15,000 miles worth of dirty oil. So once that's draining, you want to put the sump nut back on. Don't forget to put the sump nut back on, because if you do, all this fresh oil is just going to run through the engine and come out the other end, and that's just money down the drain. Alright guys, so remember to tighten the sump nut before you top the oil up. Okay, here we're just going to simply change the filter, and that's a pretty straightforward job. Like I said, changing the oil and changing the filter is really easy. For me personally, I find taking the wheels off the most time consuming and putting them back on. So with the filter, there's going to be 3 rubber gaskets. You want to take them all off and put the fresh ones on that have been included in the oil filter packet. So oil them up, rub a bit of oil on there as you slide it down, and put them into the grooves. Be very careful guys not to rip it. If you have a picker tool like mine, just be very careful not to puncture or rip the gasket, because you're going to have oil spraying through that, and that is what's actually stopping the oil flying out of the filter and all over on the bonnet, causing a leak. It's that gasket, that little small fragile thing, that's what's stopping all the oil coming out. Right, once you got the filter in, it's time to take your dirty gloves off, put your new ones on, put your clean ones on, and get the filter in, screw it in place, and you want to turn it with the breaker bar 3/4 of a full turn. So once you've hand tightened it fully, turn it 3/4 of a full turn with a breaker bar, and that should be enough. You over tighten it, you might rip the gaskets. So those rubber rings, you might rip them if you tighten it too hard. Check the oil, and if there is further oil required, you're going to need it. My car took more than 4 liters of oil, so I had to get another jug of oil from the shops after this video. And this is a very messy procedure here. As you can tell, I don't have a steady hand, and this is the best way to get rid of it. Get rid of the oil, put it back in the oil carton, and dispose of it safely. Get some good old clutch cleaner, brake cleaner, spray that sump nut, and then wipe it down so there's no oil dripping and it's nice and clean. So when you look at it again in a year's time, or whenever it's nearest to whatever comes first in terms of mileage or in terms of the year, whatever comes first to change the oil, everything's clean and looking spot on. Put the tray back on. Use the jack to assist you as a second pair of hands, just to hold it in place whilst you screw all the nuts on. Then you want to quickly just lube up the thing that the wheel attached attaches to. I'm not sure what it's called, but you want to lube that up with some copper grease. All I've done is just painted some copper grease on there, and I always do that every time I have to change the brakes or do an oil change, or anytime I take the wheels off, really. So in future, whenever it's time to take the wheels off, it's really straightforward. The wheels ain't stuck to the discs. I'm not sure what that's called really, but yeah. Right, time to take the axle stands away. Lower the jack. Be careful, your alarms may go off like it does here. And that's pretty much it, guys. There's nothing much more to it. Then we want to move forward with tightening the bolts. All of them should be tightened to 120 Newton meters of torque. So dial that in your torque. In your torque spanner. Last but not least, you want to reset the service indicator. So hold down the telephone icon, the end call, and the OK button, and this should pop up. Just follow this through, just copy what I'm doing here. You want to reset the service. Don't worry about the oil grade, that's irrelevant. And confirm. That's it. All done, full service complete. So that's your A service. And the B service I'll talk to you guys about in another video. If you guys have liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't, because if you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe, YouTube will promote this video for me, and that will be a great deal of help. So I really appreciate it, guys, if you go down in the comment section and tell me what your experiences have been like fixing the B class, the A class, the C class, or any car, because if you think about it, the concept is the same in every car. It's just like getting to the location where the oil filter is and the sump nut is. They vary a little bit in car to car, but it's pretty much the same. Peugeots are very difficult cars to service. Mercedes and Volkswagens are very, very easy cars to service. I can't say much about Fords and Vauxhalls. Japanese cars, again, are very easy to service. Remember to press the bell notification, so whenever I publish a new video, you guys will be the first to see it. That's right, you guys will be the first to see it. And drop a comment and tell me what you guys have found helpful from this video. All right, guys, see you soon.